The Origin and Antiquity of Physical Man, Scientifically Considered, by Hudson Tuttle, 1866. Okay, first we'll take a look at the table of contents, chapter 7, and under this you'll see African tribes of Semitic origin. And the tribes listed, you'll see the Hausa tribe, the Galas, the Berberans, Fulatas, Mandingos, and Yolos. And in this video, I will be discussing the Mandingo tribe.
I've heard tell about you. I heard you've been telling everybody that Mandingos ain't no damn good. Ain't nothing nobody is selling is worth buying. I'm curious. What makes you such a Mandingo expert?
I'm curious what makes you so curious.
The New American Encyclopedia, treating of the Mandingos, a West African race, says they are remarkable for their industry and energy. They are mostly Mohammedans. The principal trade of that part of West Africa, which lies between the equator and the Great Desert, is in their hands. They are not only active and shrewd merchants, but industrious agriculturalists and breeders of a good stock of cattle, sheep, and goats. They are black in color, tall, well-shaped with regular features and woolly hair. In character, they are amiable, hospitable, imaginative, credulous, truthful, fond of music, dancing, and poetry. They are adventurous travelers, extending their commercial journeys over a great part of Africa. The Mandingos are the most numerous race of West Africa and have spread themselves to the great distance from their original seat, being found all over the valleys of the Gambia, Senegal, and Niger.
I've heard tell about you. I heard you've been telling everybody that Mandingos ain't no damn good. Ain't nothing nobody is selling is worth buying. I'm curious. What makes you such a Mandingo expert?
I'm curious what makes you so curious.
There are some who call themselves original Jews, of the posterity of Abraham, who proclaim to have formerly come in colonies and to have settled themselves in Egypt, Abyssinia, and along the Niger. And these last are more numerous and considerable than the two former. But those who came and are here still in the greatest number are such as have refuged themselves in these parts, either after the destruction of Jerusalem and the dispersion of the Jewish nation by Titus and Vespasian, mentioned in the former chapter, or who have fled from other persecutions under the Romans, Persians, Saracens, and since under the Christians. The Uncivilized Races of Men in All Countries of the World, by Reverend J.G. Wood, 1870. In appearance, the Mandingos are tall and well-made, and have the woolly hair, though not the jetty skin and enormous lips of the true Negro. The structure of the language, says Mr. McBriar, who has made it his special study, is thoroughly Eastern. In some of its grammatical forms, it resembles the Hebrew and Syriac languages.
Got a Mandingo! Purebred Mandingo!
I want to see. This is what I was looking for, yeah! Oh!
The principal English translations of the sacred scriptures, the Old Testament, the New Testament, with the memoirs of the principal translators by Charles Roger Dundee, 1847. About 717 AD, John the Archbishop of Seville translated into the Arabic the Holy Scriptures for the use of the Saracens and Moors. This is the first translation into that language at present known, unless we suppose the Arabic version of the Pentateuch mentioned by Mr. Park as being in possession of the Mandingo Negroes to be older. They call it Tereta la Musa. They have likewise a version of the Psalms of David, Zabora Dawidi, and lastly the book of Isaiah, which they call Langali la Isa, and are in very high esteem. These manuscripts were purchased from the Moors by the Negroes, principally from the trading Moors, but their dates cannot be exactly known. Travels in the Interior of Africa by Mungo Park, 1822. From their possession of these books, the Negroes have become acquainted with the scriptural account of the origin of the world and of its early history. Park heard many different individuals recount, in the Mandingo language with no small degree of accuracy, the history of Adam and Eve, of Abel, of the deluge, of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, of Joseph, of Moses, David, and Solomon, and of several important transactions recorded in the Hebrew Scriptures. To hear these circumstances detailed by Negroes, whom he had supposed to be entirely ignorant of them, excited no small degree of surprise. An account of Timbuktu and Hausa, territories in the interior of Africa, by El Haji Abid Salam Shabini, 1820. Page 187. Yahudi, a place of great trade. This place is reported to be inhabited by one of the lost tribes of Israel, possibly an immigration from the tribe of Judah. Yahuda in African Arabic signifies Judah. Yahudi signifies Jew. It is not impossible that many of the lost tribes of Israel may be found dispersed in the interior regions of Africa. When we shall become better acquainted with that continent, it is certain that some of the nations that possess the country eastward of Palestine, when the Israelites were a favored nation, have emigrated to Africa. The Mandingo and Fulah races. The Negroes here described are members of the Sierra Wolof, a race inhabiting the wide alluvial plain between the lower Senegal and Gambia rivers, and the Falime tributary of the Senegal. Farther on, in the hilly districts of the interior, dwell the Mandingos, or Malinke, and the Soniki, who are justly looked on as the Jews of Africa, being mainly engaged in exchange and barter. These races occupy the western slopes of the hills, where rise the Senegal, the Gambia, and the Niger.